Welcome to my documentary about why I refuse to pay the IRS. In November of 2023, I got two bills in the mail from the IRS. They were for back taxes from the years 2010 and 2011 and totaled a little over $40,000. And then in November of 2024, when I got back from donating time in North Carolina and helping people last year, I had 13 letters in the mail from the IRS. And after adding all of those up, it equaled a little over $40,000 there. So adding them all up together, I owe the IRS a little over $82,000. And that's just what I know of. This is accumulation from the last 15 years of my life. Everything I own in this world is worth less than $5,000. I personally choose to help people hands-on instead of paying taxes. I don't intend to respond, but I am fully ready to defend myself in court if it comes to that. And I am not running in any way, shape, or form. My number is 573-286-8316. I'm leaving the ball in their court on deciding on where this goes. I have drawn a line in the sand, and I am standing up for my core beliefs. I morally refuse to continue to contribute to the crimes our government is committing. I fully intend to represent myself in court and stand up for these beliefs and morals. I have represented myself many, many times and won every single time. Our Constitution guarantees us the right at a public jury trial. This is my constitutional right for due process, and it's something that they cannot overthrow or take away from me. Every single judge or public official has sworn an oath to the Constitution, and they have to honor that oath. There's a process called jury nullification, where the jury can decide not only the guilt or innocence of the person on trial, but the justifiability of the law itself, meaning that the jury can find a person innocent, even if they know the person committed the so-called crime. The courts don't like to admit it, but the juries also have the right to decide if a law is unjust, and they can choose not to convict someone because the law isn't right. The jurors can choose to follow their heart and their morals, instead of just being forced to follow the laws that these corrupt politicians endlessly create. Jury nullification is a great thing, because it's a form of checks and balances between we the people and the politicians that are creating endless laws. This is pretty much the only tool that we the people have to stand up and set things right. The system tries to silence any form of jury nullification because they know it's their biggest threat to their power. Lawyers can't even mention jury nullification because they swore an oath to the bar, and in order to keep their bar license, they have to follow the law to a T and can never question the law itself. If they do, they lose their bar license. But I don't have a bar license, and I'm just defending myself from charges they bring against me. The Constitution guarantees my right to do such as well. At any time, the jury can choose to ignore a corrupt law and instead follow their morals and do what's right. I need a unanimous decision in order to actually be found innocent and change things. But if one juror chooses to stand strong and morally won't budge, then it will hang the jury, and it will have to go to a retrial. Only so many retrials can happen before they have to dismiss the case. So one person does have the chance to change things. I have absolute faith that there are good people in this world, and I have faith in due process, so I'm not scared at all. And I know that if this ends up going to court, that there will be some good person that will stand up and help set things right. These videos will be my defense in case I'm ever silenced and not allowed to defend myself. This should definitely be recognized in a courtroom setting, and it needs to be included as part of my defense. I intend to keep everything absolutely 100% public and out in the open, and will even make a documentary of the whole entire process. Legally speaking, I should not be forced to be an accessory to a crime. The things I'm bringing up in these videos are crimes that the government is committing, or things that I morally don't agree with and will not support. It is now up to the prosecution to prove that the things I'm bringing up are not crimes, and that they can somehow force me to pay for something I don't morally agree with. As part of my defense, I would like each video in this series to be played individually. Legally speaking, I cannot be forced to be an accessory to a crime, and morally speaking, you can't force me to pay for something that goes against my beliefs. I should not be held liable for refusing to contribute to criminal activity or be forced to do something against my morals. I am standing up for my beliefs and will not contribute to these crimes that they are committing. Therefore, I absolutely refuse to pay the IRS. Forcing someone to pay something against their will is theft, and I feel that taxes are extortion. You can look up these definitions in the dictionary and see that I'm right. Once again, I challenge the prosecution to prove otherwise. I do have a resolution and solution that I'm offering. If I had a multiple choice layout in which I could voluntarily fund the departments that I want to fund, then I would be able to voluntarily contribute to the entities I wish to contribute to. I don't mind helping out and doing what I can to help humanity, but there are lines that I have drawn, and I won't work to help hurt humanity. I don't mind paying for roads and disability, but I will not help fund wars. But we should all have the freedom to choose the departments we wish to contribute to. Republicans should be able to fund Republican stuff, and Democrats should be able to fund Democratic stuff, and we should all have the freedom to just fund what what we want to, and we should not be forced to contribute to things we don't morally agree with. We all have different perspectives in this world, and it should be our individual freedom to decide what we wish to morally fund. And from there, if the government worked from the budgets that we voluntarily give them, we could balance the budget tomorrow. Instead of allowing the government to do whatever they want and create endless debt that our children and grandchildren will have to pay back, we voluntarily give them a budget, and they are forced to work from the budget that we voluntarily give them. This is what true freedom looks like. I had a little boy that passed away 17 years ago. I was able to hold him in my arms, and I promised him I'd do all I can to help make the world a better place. So the biggest thing I can see that would help the world right now is trying to create peace. I know not paying my taxes may not seem like I'm trying to create peace in this world, but by refusing to pay for war and all the other terrible things our government is doing to harm people, I'm at least doing something to try and take a step in the right direction. And at the very least, I can choose not to support it. Ultimately, all of us just want the freedom to do our own thing and be left alone. So I feel freedom is paramount to peace. As long as there is no victim, there should be no crime. But if there is a victim and somebody has been harmed, we must seek out justice through due process. The system seems so backwards that those who are in power and running things are massively harming people. Yet they're allowed to get away with it and do whatever they want. And at the same time, our courtrooms are full of people who are there for victimless crimes. And the only crime they have committed is not properly buying their freedom from the government. Whether you believe freedom is our God-given right, our constitutional right, or just what's morally right, at the end of it all, as long as we don't harm anyone, we must be allowed the freedom to do as we wish.